Alrighty guys, welcome to our NBA video here today for Sunday, October 23rd, 2022. My name is Brock Page and I've been doing sports picks for free right here on YouTube since 2016. I also sell my personal sports bets on patreon.com/BrockPage. And I'll include a link for that site in the description section below. But with that guys, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to take a look at the Blazers at the Lakers, 3:30 p.m. East. LA's minus 3.5, totals 224. Now, the winless Lakers are currently dead last in the NBA in shooting from the field. They're also connecting on a dismal 22% of their three-pointers. They're facing a 2-0 Portland squad who's in the top 10 in fewest points allowed, playing some pretty good defense. Meanwhile, on the offensive end of the court, Dame Lillard scoring 30 a game, and he's yet to miss a free throw. Meanwhile, Jusuf Nurkic, he's averaging a dozen big rebounds a game. When it comes to the injury report, Payton and Oliver are still out. Watford is day-to-day. Meanwhile, for Los Angeles, Schroeder, Bryant, and Swider, they're all listed as out. Davis and Brown are questionable. Now, when it comes to the total in this one, the Lakers saw 7 out of their last 10 meetings with the Blazers stay under the line. Meanwhile, Portland's 2-0 to the under this year already. I'm going to lean toward the Blazers, plus 3.5, under 224. Next ball game, Hornets at the Hawks, 5 o'clock Eastern start time. Atlanta's the 11-point favorite, totals 228. And even though the Hawks do look good, they have had their issues with defensive rebounding. They're actually grabbing fewer defensive boards a game than most clubs in the East right now. I know we're only a couple of games into the season, but that is the data. Now, they're also facing a Charlotte team who has a little issue getting on the scoreboard. These guys are making over 48% of their field goals, and they're also in the top 5 in three-point shooting. Now, Gordon Hayward's dropping 23 points a night. Meanwhile, P.J. Washington's making 42% of his three-point shots. When it comes to the injury report, Ball is out. Martin Rozier are doubtful. Meanwhile, for Atlanta on the other side, Bogdanovic is out with a knee. Now, total-wise, the Hawks are 2-0 to the under to start the year. They also saw 7 out of their last 10 contests against Charlotte stay under the total. So if you're into historical trends, certainly want to think about that one there. I'm going to lean toward the Hornets plus 11, keeping this one close, under 228. Next ball game, it is going to be Jazz at the Pelicans, 7 o'clock Eastern start time. New Orleans is minus 7.5, totals 230. And even though the Pels are favored in this one, it's the Jazz who are averaging more points a game than any other club in the NBA. Lauri Markkanen scoring 20 points a game, and he averages 8.5 rebounds. Meanwhile, Jordan Clarkson's drilling 50% of his three-pointers himself. Meanwhile, defensively, the Jazz are actually doing a great job guarding the three ball. They're actually limiting their competition to just 29% shooting from three land. Now, injury-wise, Azubuike is out for Utah. Meanwhile, for the Pelicans on the other side, Lewis is out. Hayes is questionable. When it comes to the number, New Orleans is currently 2-0 to the over to start the year. They also went 60% to the over in their last 10 contests against Utah. So once again, if you're into historical trends, plenty of overs to go around. I'm going to lean toward the Jazz plus 7.5, over 230. Next ball game I have for you, it is going to be Wizards at the Cavaliers, 7 o'clock Eastern start time. Cleveland's minus 4.5, totals 217. Now, the Cavs have been shooting lights out to start the year. They're actually leading the league in field goal percentage. They're also drilling over 47% of their three-pointers. Sadie Osman's making 56% of his shots from downtown. He's also averaging 16 points a game off the bench. Meanwhile, Donovan Mitchell, he's currently the team's leading points getter. He's averaging 31 points a night. Now, they're facing a Washington team who's in the bottom 10 in points per game. The Wizards' top 3 scorers are also shooting under 39% from three land. And when it comes to the injury report in this one, Kispert's still out for Washington. Carey's questionable. Meanwhile, for Cleveland on the other side, Windler's questionable. Garland's doubtful. Now, when it comes to the scoring, Cleveland went 7-3 to the under in their last 10 meetings with Washington. Meanwhile, the Wizards are 2-0 to the under to start the year themselves. I'm going to lean toward Cleveland minus 4.5, under 217. Next ball game I have for you, it is going to be Timberwolves at the Thunder, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. Minnesota's the 8-point favorite on the road, totals 226. And even though the T-Wolves are favored by 8 on the road, it's OKC who currently is 2-0 against the spread to start the year. Covers over the likes of Denver and this very Minnesota team in the opener. And what the Thunder have been doing very well this year is getting offensive rebounds. They're actually in the top 5 in the league right now in offensive boards. Josh Giddey, he's grabbing 11 rebounds a night. And in addition to that, he's also averaging 16 points. Meanwhile, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's getting 30 points a night already himself. And he's yet to miss a foul shot. Now they're facing a Minnesota club who's giving up 120 points a game themselves. And they do a poor job of rebounding defensively. Meanwhile, on the offensive end of the court, they've actually been one of the worst shooting teams in the league. They're actually making only 29% of their shots from beyond the arc. Definitely struggling shooting the three ball. Now, injury-wise, Anderson's out for Minnesota. Meanwhile, for Oklahoma City, Williams and Holmgren are out for them. Now, total-wise, OKC saw their contest yesterday with Denver fly over the posted number. Meanwhile, Minnesota's game yesterday with Utah flew about 25 points over the total themselves. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Oklahoma City plus 8 over 226. Next ball game, it is going to be Kings at the Warriors. That'll be an 8:30 Eastern tip-off. Golden State's minus 10 on their home court. Totals 231.5. Now, the Warriors are coming off a tough loss to, was it Denver yesterday? I think it was Denver. No, was it Denver? They're coming off a tough, yeah, I don't know if it was yesterday or not, or maybe a few days ago. But anyway, the Warriors, their most recent outing, well, it was a tough loss, and they played horrible defense. They gave up 128 points. As a matter of fact, the Warriors right now are one of the worst teams in the West in guarding the field goal. And on the offensive end of the court, well, Golden State, they're currently in the bottom 10 in the league in defensive boards. They're facing a Sacramento squad who's making just about 40% of their three-pointers. De'Aaron Fox, he's shooting over 57% from three-land. He's scoring 34 points a night. Meanwhile, Kevin Huerter is shooting 65% from beyond the arc. He's also averaging 20 points a game himself. Now, injury-wise, Sacramento's looking pretty healthy at the moment. Meanwhile, for Golden State, Baldwin is questionable. Iguodala's out. When it comes to total, Golden State's 2-0 to the over to start the year. Overs against the likes of Denver and the Lakers. I'm going to lean towards Sacramento plus 10 over 231.5. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final breakdown for the video. It is going to be Suns at the Clippers. And that'll be a 10 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Phoenix is minus 1.5, totals 218. Now, John Wall and Kawhi Leonard, they could sit out here today. Matter of fact, those two schlubs are capable of sitting out in any given game. I don't know. If you're hurt or you have an ailing injury, just say so. I mean, just to be sitting out so many games for rest is kind of ludicrous. I hate it. I mean, it shows a complete lack of passion. I get it. It's smart. You're preserving your body. I mean, come on, man. It's ridiculous. It's getting out of hand. But anyway, the Clippers are 2-0, but despite that, they are in the bottom 5 in scoring. They're actually amongst the worst three-point shooting teams in the West right now. They're facing a Phoenix club who's doing a nice job keeping their opponents away from the basket. Meanwhile, offensively, Devin Booker is scoring 30 points a game, and he's making 50% of his three balls. Meanwhile, DeAndre Ayton, he's grabbing 8 boards a game, and he's scoring 22 points a night himself. When it comes to the total, both teams are 2-0 to the under to start the year. I'm going to lean toward Phoenix minus 1.5, under 218. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap. I like Portland plus 3.5, under 224. Give me Charlotte plus 11, under 228. Utah Jazz plus 7.5, over 230. Cleveland minus 4.5, under 217. Oklahoma City plus 8, over 226. Sacramento plus 10, over 231.5. And with my next and final free pick for the video, I'm going to lean toward Phoenix minus 1.5, under 218.